Right, welcome back to another episode on the Ocean Jade car. In this episode, we're going to be focusing on basically the engine removal jobs. We won't list them off right now, we'll show it as we go through, mainly because I can't remember all the jobs that are being done when the engine's out. So we'll go through that as we progress. First things first though, whenever we've got an air conditioning leak or an air conditioning not working on a car and the engine happens to be coming out for other work, we'll always insist on doing a nitrogen leak test first because there's some pipe work that goes over the top of the engine, and if they don't look like they're leaking, but you take the engine out, do all the work, put it back, gas the aircon, and then in a month's time it all leaks out again and it happens to be those over-engine pipes, well, the owner of the car and us are both going to be rather upset that the engine's got to come out again. So that's what's going on now. Do you want to
so we've got
show the nitrogen regulator, etc.?
Yeah, so we've got it connected up to the high pressure side of the system, which will flow through, so we can basically look around for leaks and do some soapy water spraying. Also get the UV light on there as well, see if there's any other signs of old leaks. But yeah,
go on, show
usually you see it pissing out, so if there's even a pinprick hole. So
that's the professional term.
Yeah, pissing out.
So yeah, on this car, the air conditioning condensers are obviously the thing that are really prone, because we've shown that a million times on the channel. They're not leaking, they actually look fairly new. All the visible pipe work and prone areas we've looked at, and there's no damp patches on them indicating leaks. So here we are. We're going to do the nitrogen test, have a look, and see if there's any leaks from the over-engine pipe work, essentially. And then we're going to show the engine coming out. You're going to get his yawn and everything right on the mic, because he's right next to you.
He died.
Right, we'll cut there. Okay, so the engine's coming out. What is the procedure then? So
we've got, first of all, we'll talk about underneath. Gearbox wise, we've got to take gear cables off, slave cylinder out, drive shaft we'll just disconnect, and then you've got a rear mounting frame here, but we'll sort that out later when it's resting on the bed. We've also got to take this cross member off. These two diagonal cross braces are coming off, and these are actually getting sprayed, aren't they?
We're going to get them shot blasted and then powder coated.
So
were you worrying about those bolts snapping? Did you manage to get them out without snapping them?
Yeah, I got them out without snapping. I thought they were going to go, but...
Thought there would be more drilling.
Yeah, but aside from that, underneath, that's all we do, take off these coolant pipes here. And then up top, it's literally just coolant pipes.
Drain the coolant from here first, don't you?
Yeah, I've already drained it because I've got the thermostat off. Yeah, up top it's just one fuel connection.
Where's your fuel connection?
2 litres up top. I can, let me get it down and I'll show you.
Power steering pipes as well.
Yeah, power steering pipes will come off.
Did they come undone okay?
I haven't undone them yet.
That's another classic 996
Yeah,
problem.
They're not very nice to get those off. Torch.
Where are you disconnecting the aircon from as well on the compressor?
Yeah, disconnect the aircon from the compressor. These are your two.
The 2 pipes, yeah? So you've got the high pressure.
Yeah, you've got the high
and
pressure
the
and low pressure. These are your 2 loom plugs here.
That makes it very easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, these are your 2 power steering pipes that are difficult to get off because of the location, and they usually
get corroded.
Yeah.
So when they don't come off, you strip the pump out, don't you?
Yeah.
You take the pump off and leave the pump connected. Otherwise it will need new hoses and they're quite expensive.
Exactly. Then we've just got some coolant pipes here that we need to disconnect. And then you've got 1 fuel connection down here. Oh no, actually we've got 2 on this.
Where are you going to disconnect the coolant from the post over-engine ones, both sides?
Yeah, so that's your over-engine coolant pipe here.
To the thermostat?
Yeah.
And then the one on the other side, the return hose, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
So the one that runs from that flange that way.
And then, yeah, by that point you can just drop it on the table, loosen the engine mounts, loosen the gearbox mounts, and carefully drop it down.
You can get a little time lapse of that.
Yeah, without snagging anything. Yeah.
Righto.
So as you would have seen in the last clip, we've got the engine out. So we've mainly got this engine out to access this ribbed hose. So this is the hose that goes to your air oil separator, and it basically intertwines through the inlet manifold, and it's pretty much impossible to get out without removing the inlet manifold, because it's got a fixed part of the pipe that runs along the centre. On the later models, you've got a ribbed hose throughout, and it's a lot easier to feed it out, and you don't have to take the engine out to do it. So we're going to be changing the air oil separator. We're going to be changing this ribbed hose also, and the breather on the other side. Right, so now we've got the air oil separator removed. We've also got the breather pipe out. So it runs from this side of the air oil separator right over through the inlet to the bank 2 over here. We have also got to do this breather line we're replacing as well, but I can do that in a second, which goes to the plenum chamber up there, as you can see. So we've got a very oily air oil separator down here. You can see that seal's absolutely perished, which is probably part of the reason why it was leaking oil everywhere. That rib hose is not looking too well. So yeah, there's the nice new air oil separator. This is the breather line, which they've actually changed the design and made it a full solid pipe on this side, but they've still got the ribbed bit over here. So it's probably going to make it a bit more difficult putting it back in, but it's no problem. And then that other breather pipe that I mentioned that goes to the plenum. So we'll pop that in now. So now though, we've got the gearbox off, we've got the clutch off, and we've also got the flywheel off. So we've got the engine timed up as well, because we're going to be doing the EPS IMS bearing upgrade. So this is currently the original IMS bearing that's in this car, and as you can see, the cover plate is leaking very badly. We'll also do the rear main seal while we're here, because why wouldn't you? But yeah, we just got to remove this chain tensioner, and then the chain tension on the other side, which is just there. And then we can remove the cover plate, remove the bearing, and install the new EPS IMS bearing. So we've got the new IMS bearing installed here. We've also put in a new rear main seal. So we'll get that all cleaned up. And then we are going to be replacing the clutch as well, because it doesn't look too bad, but it's also not great. It's a little bit thin, got a little bit of wear on there, and while we've got it out, why not put a new clutch in? We've also done the coil packs and spark plug socks. Same again on this side, because they were all cracked as we usually see. I just thought I'd show you quickly. This is the old IMS bearing. It's a sealed bearing, and then we put in this more of a roller bearing, which oil can actually get to rather than the seal bearing. And yeah, this is an EPS IMS bearing. So there you go. That's the new bearing that's in there.
Okay, an update on the car. It's early in the morning before anyone's arrived for work. So, we've got the gearbox back from the gearbox specialists. So they had to shim up that limited slip differential, set it up essentially. I've got a couple of pictures from them when they were doing that actually, so I'll put those in the video now. So Ollie was waiting for that. It was kind of holding him up and he was doing bits and bobs on the car while he was waiting for the box to come back. But the engine work, I'm not sure what videos Ollie's taken, but obviously we fitted the EPS IMS bearing and the upgraded EPS IMS cover plates with the double seal. Fit a new clutch, 3-piece clutch kit. I can see he's put a new oil pressure sensor on there. He probably found that that was corroded. New air oil separator. We had a few oil leaks in this car. One was coming from that, and then very common is these ribbed breather lines from the air oil separator, which run underneath all those ancillaries, one across to bank 2, which is on this side. You can see the end of it there. They've superseded it to this hard pipe most of the section, whereas before it was all a ribbed pipe, which was obviously a weak point, and you see oil residue just all across the top of the engine casing, which would usually be that. And then there's another one here somewhere, I can't see it, I think goes onto the plenum. I'm not going to be able to see that. So yeah, both those have been done. It's going to be getting new brackets here to hold the cats just because they look untidy. We'll be getting a new low temperature thermostat. That obviously had to come off to drill out those bolts on the exhaust manifolds, if you've seen the exhaust video. So the major service, we replaced all 6 spark plug tubes. So on these 3.4 early engines, they had spark plug tubes with seals on them. They had a tendency to leak. These were leaking, so it's had those. 6 new coil packs, these are the new type ones. Square chunky ones which don't have the tendency of cracking like the earlier ones. What else? These Variocam solenoid flange seals have been replaced. They have a tendency to leak as well. There's a rubber O-ring seal in there. And there's the one for the opposing side. I think that might be it. Ollie actually got the car out, he rolled it outside and then jacked it right up at the back and got under there with the jet wash. I think we're going to have another go at it. So he's got the main bulk of the dirt off, but I think we're going to get under here now with some degreaser and some paint brushes and really try and kind of work it in. You can see he's got the RSS semi-solid engine mount sat there ready to go. The engine mounts we took out were brand new, but we wanted these semi-solid ones. Got a new clutch slave cylinder in there, I see. I actually noticed that the actuator rod end here, you see how they're made of rubber? What happens is that wears through to bare metal, and then when you depress the clutch, because it's metal to metal, it just squeaks. There's a new slave cylinder there. The ball joint end for this actuator on the other end is inside the gearbox casing. And that onto the release bearing, and that can also rub through to bare metal. It goes through here. A few other bits. We've got a new earth strap going on. As you can see, it's all frayed and damaged. That won't be helping our hot start. It's getting these 2 coolant hoses here that run alongside the gearbox, just because they're starting to get a bit perished on the ends, which is often the case. They'll also start to kind of flare, and then you'll see pink staining around the joins from it weeping out of those locations. You can see that runs under there, one goes to there, and then one stops at that hard pipe there, which then continues around here, and we'll also be replacing this, which we call the small 90-degree hose. Same thing, just flaring at the end joins. It's also getting a new water pump hose. That comes off of the water pump there and then runs up to here, onto the expansion tank. And it'll also be getting the thermostat hose, which isn't intact because that is obviously off the thermostat, but that goes up and into the big over-engine coolant pipe that runs forward towards the radiators at the front of the car. So I've just got back from the powder coaters with a couple of bits. So we forgot, or it was an oversight, didn't think to spray these bits with the rest of the bits we dropped off before. So these are the gearbox mounts, and they often get corroded and they look very, very nice. The camera's showing little white speckles, but that's just dust on them. Ollie's going to be very happy because he was waiting for the gearbox to come back before putting the engine in. It'd been sat there for a day, holding him up. And now I'm waiting another day, tinkering around, waiting for these. So let's see what he says.
Oh, they look nice.
It means you can put that engine back in the back. Okay, this might be our second to last clip. So the last clips were a time lapse of you putting it back in. So yeah. What's occurred engine-wise?
Well, we took it out obviously to do the air oil separator and that breather pipe. But we did other things like the IMS bearing you saw, rear main seal just while the engine was out. It's a lot easier. We also put a new clutch in there. And we've done quite a lot of the water hoses as well actually, because they were quite perished.
So I discussed these. Do you want to just show them in the car now?
Yeah, so you got the water, I haven't put the thermostat hose in, but this is the water pump hose, which, by the way, you do need to get a new metal pipe.
So just from the Gen 1 996s, they're a different design.
Yeah, they're slightly different.
They've superseded, so you have to get this one that connects here to this hard pipe. I don't know why they've done that, but
no, I'm not sure.
That runs right forward.
You've got the small coolant hose here, that 90-degree one.
Yeah, that's one we call the small 90-degree, yeah.
And then we've done the two hoses that run along the side of the gearbox here, because they were quite flared and crusty.
It's what they do, isn't it? It's just 20-year-old rubber.
Yeah.
In a cold climate, starts to perish, and then it flares at the joins, and you'll just get a bit of pink staining around the ends. That one actually joins to that hard pipe we've replaced now, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
CV joints?
Yeah, we've done the CV joints as well. It's just a lot easier whipping the drive shafts out when you've got the engine out.
It was those inners, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just the inner CV joints.
I think we weeping grease and corroded.
No, we showed one. The end was all smashed up, I think.
Have you shown it? I haven't seen that clip.
I thought you showed it, but the inner coupling was all smashed up. That's why grease was pouring out of it and getting spun up everywhere. But they've both got new CV joints and new inner couplings now, and new boots, obviously. You
can see the shiny thermostat there. So that's a low temp thermostat. They're the ones we always fit if we replace them.
Yeah.
We showed these cross braces in the suspension video, but there you go.
Yeah.
45-degree bars have been powder coated. Centre bar's just been cleaned up. which looks nice and tidy. Gearbox mount you just saw going on.
Yeah.
You managed to get that on without scratching it.
Yeah.
Ollie was like, I don't want to be filmed fitting this.
No.
So that looks nice. They always get corroded. That wraps us up, doesn't it? So each of these individual jobs, none of them needed the engine coming out to be done. But as you've seen in the video, when there's a list of work like that, that's a lot easier to do with the engine out altogether. It's more efficient to do so.
Yeah.
Makes a nicer job for you to do, doesn't it? It's easier, cheaper.
Yeah, that aerial separator pipe would have been a nightmare with the engine in.
Yeah, and I mean, it's exhaust stuff we're talking about. It should be in another video, but just doing those brackets, you'd have to drop the engine down a bit to do them.
Yeah.
So that was easier. The over gearbox brake pipe or over engine brake pipe, that's so much easier with the engine out rather than just taking the gearbox out.
Yeah, you've got a lot more room.
You could have just taken the gearbox out to do that brake pipe, do the IMS, do the clutch, do the limited slip diff, but having the engine out, doing it all together is so much easier, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's more efficient for the customer and just nicer for us, basically. That wraps up the engine stuff, really, doesn't it? Just gonna get everything else wrapped up, bleed up the system, and then check the aircon. So the start of the video was doing a nitrogen test on the aircon. No leaks were found.
Yeah, we couldn't find anything, so.
I'm a bit scared that we're going to have a compressor problem.
Yeah, we'll see.
We will see.
We will see.
Okay, this is wrapping up the engine video, the second episode of the series, or of the build. Ollie wanted to show how nicely he cleaned up the airbox.
Look how nice that is.
That is nice and clean, and you've done a nice job of getting it all clean in here, actually. It's nice seeing the turquoise. While you're pointing at those engine mounts, we didn't really mention those, so they're our favoured sport aftermarket engine mounts. They're semi-solid, so they're going to make the car feel a little bit firmer, a little bit more sporty without being too crashy, because there is always a compromise when you use semi-solid or particularly solid engine mounts. So they should feel nice. We didn't speak much about the limited slip differential that's gone in. So we fitted a Quaife limited slip differential. So we'll do a follow-up video where we drive the car and we'll give our thoughts on that. But again, it should just make the car feel more sporty and a little bit more focused.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No, nothing to add.
I think the last thing was you putting the engine up and bolting it in.
Yeah.
Obviously after that, what procedures
it's just fitting.
to get it up and running?
It's literally just fitting all the coolant lines, power steering hoses, power steering lines, fuel lines.
Bleeding up the coolant system.
Yeah.
Did a pressurised vacuum bleed. It's what we always do, isn't it? Bleeding up the power steering system.
It's been nice to actually clean it down properly in there.
Yeah.
To make it look real nice and tidy.
We've done a gearbox oil change, obviously changed the diff oil, that to be drained anyway, doing the limited slip differential. Full service, hasn't it, as well, the engine itself. Have you regassed the aircon yet to see if we've got a leak?
I haven't. That's my next job.
Right, should we regas it and then we'll have to let them know in this video?
Yeah.
What's happening with that then? Okay, fine.